An introduction to the philosophy. Stoicism is a school of philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and Rome, and flourished for centuries as a practical way of living. Stoicism teaches us how to live in harmony with nature, reason, and ourselves, by cultivating virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. Stoicism also provides us with tools to cope with the challenges and uncertainties of life, by showing us how to manage our emotions, expectations, and actions. The origins of Stoicism. Stoicism was founded by Zeno of Citium, a merchant who turned to philosophy after losing his fortune in a shipwreck. He studied under various teachers, including the Cynics, who advocated a simple and self-sufficient life. Zeno developed his own system of philosophy, which he taught in the Stoa Poikile, a public colonnade in Athens. This is where the name Stoicism comes from. Zeno's teachings were later refined and expanded by his successors, such as Cleanthes, Chrysippus, and Panaetius. Stoicism became popular among the Romans, especially among the elite and the military. Some of the most famous Stoics in history include Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and philosopher, Seneca, the statesman and writer, and Epictetus, the former slave and teacher. The key figures of Stoicism. Stoicism has produced many influential thinkers and writers, who have left behind a rich legacy of wisdom and insight. Some of the key figures of Stoicism are Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, who taught that the goal of life is to live in accordance with nature and reason, and to be free from passions and external influences. Cleanthes of Assos, the second head of the Stoic school, who emphasized the importance of living according to the divine law and the natural order of the cosmos. Chrysippus of Soli, the third head of the Stoic school, who developed the Stoic logic, physics, and ethics, and established Stoicism as a coherent and comprehensive system of philosophy. Panaetius of Rhodes, the founder of the Middle Stoic school, who introduced Stoicism to the Romans and adapted it to the changing social and political circumstances of his time. Posidonius of Apamea, the most influential Stoic of the late Republic, who combined Stoicism with other fields of knowledge, such as astronomy, geography, history, and psychology. Cato the Younger, the Roman senator and statesman, who embodied the Stoic ideals of virtue, integrity, and resistance to tyranny. He opposed Julius Caesar and died by his own hand after the Civil War. Seneca the Younger, the Roman philosopher, writer, and tutor of Nero, who wrote many works on Stoic ethics, such as Letters to Lucilius, on anger, and on the shortness of life. He was forced to commit suicide by Nero for his alleged involvement in a conspiracy. Epictetus, the Greek philosopher and former slave, who taught that the only thing under our control is our own judgments and actions, and that we should focus on what we can do, rather than what we cannot. He wrote the Enchiridion, a handbook of Stoic advice, and the Discourses, a record of his lectures. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, who ruled the empire at its peak, but faced many wars, plagues, and troubles. He wrote the Meditations, a personal diary of his reflections on Stoic principles and how to apply them to his life. The fundamental principles of Stoicism. Stoicism is based on three main branches of philosophy: ethics, logic, and physics. Ethics deals with how to live well and act rightly. Logic deals with how to reason correctly and avoid errors, and physics deals with how to understand the nature of the universe and our place in it. These three branches are interrelated and support each other, forming a coherent and consistent worldview. Ethics. The core of Stoic ethics is the idea that the highest good and the ultimate goal of life is *virtue, which means excellence of character and rationality. Virtue is the only thing that is always good, always in our power, and always sufficient for happiness. Everything else, such as wealth, health, fame, pleasure, and pain, is indifferent, which means that they are neither good nor bad in themselves, but only have value depending on how we use them. Some of these indifferents are preferred, such as health and wealth, because they are in accordance with nature and reason, and some are dispreferred, such as sickness and poverty, because they are contrary to nature and reason. However, none of these indifferents can affect our happiness or unhappiness unless we let them. Stoics believe that we should live in harmony with nature, both the nature of the universe and the nature of ourselves. The nature of the universe is governed by a divine and rational principle, which the Stoics call logos, providence, or fate. This principle orders everything in the best possible way, and nothing happens without a reason or a purpose. The nature of ourselves is also rational, as we are endowed with the faculty of reason, which allows us to understand the logos and act accordingly. Reason is what distinguishes us from other animals, and what makes us human. Stoics also believe that we are part of a larger whole, cosmopolis, or city of the world, where all rational beings are connected and share a common interest. We are not isolated individuals, but members of a family, a community, a society, and a humanity. We have duties and responsibilities towards ourselves and others, and we should act with justice, benevolence and generosity. We should also respect the rights and freedoms of others, and not interfere with their choices, unless they harm themselves or others. Stoics teach us how to deal with the challenges and uncertainties of life, by showing us how to manage our emotions, expectations, and actions. Emotions are not bad in themselves, but they can become destructive if they are based on false or irrational judgments. For example, anger, fear, grief, and envy are emotions that arise from the belief that something bad has happened or will happen, and that it is not in our control. Stoics argue that we can overcome these emotions by changing our judgments, and by realizing that nothing external can harm us unless we let it. We can also cultivate positive emotions, such as joy, gratitude, and love, by focusing on the good things that we have and can do, and by appreciating the beauty and order of the universe. Expectations are also not bad in themselves, but they can become disappointing if they are unrealistic or unreasonable. For example, we may expect to achieve a certain goal, to receive a certain reward, or to avoid a certain outcome, but we may fail to do so, due to factors beyond our control. Stoics advise us to adjust our expectations, and to be prepared for any possibility, by using the technique of premeditation of evils. This means that we should imagine the worst-case scenarios, and how we would cope with them, before they happen. This way, we can reduce the impact of negative events, and increase our resilience and courage. Actions are the only thing that are fully in our control, and they are the most important aspect of our life. Stoics urge us to choose our actions wisely, and to act in accordance with virtue, nature, and reason. We should also evaluate our actions by their quality, not by their results, and by their intentions, not by their consequences. We should not be attached to the outcomes of our actions, but to the actions themselves, as they reflect our character and values. We should also accept the outcomes of our actions, whatever they may be, as they are part of the divine plan, and as they are opportunities for learning and growth. Logic. The aim of Stoic logic is to help us reason correctly and avoid errors. Stoic logic is based on the idea that there is a correspondence between the word, the meaning, and the thing. The word is the sound or the symbol that we use to communicate. The meaning is the concept or the idea that we have in our mind, and the thing is the object or the reality that exists in the world. For example, the word dog corresponds to the meaning of a four-legged animal that barks, and to the thing that is an actual dog. Stoic logic consists of two main parts, dialectic and rhetoric. Dialectic is the art of reasoning and argumentation, which uses syllogisms, or logical structures that consist of premises and conclusions. For example, a syllogism can be, all humans are mortal. Premise. Socrates is a human. Premise. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. Conclusion. Rhetoric is the art of persuasion and communication, which uses topics, or commonplaces that can be used to support or refute a claim. For example, a topic can be authority, using the opinion or the testimony of an expert or a reputable source to support or refute a claim. For example, citing a scientific study or a historical document. Example, using a specific case or a hypothetical scenario to illustrate or challenge a claim. For example, giving an anecdote or a counterexample. Comparison, using a similarity or a difference between two or more things to support or refute a claim. For example, using an analogy or a contrast. Cause and effect, using a causal relationship between two or more things to support or refute a claim. For example, showing how an action leads to a consequence or how a condition results from a cause. Definition, using a clear and precise explanation of a term or a concept to support or refute a claim. For example, clarifying the meaning or the scope of a word or an idea. Stoic logic helps us to think clearly and critically, and to avoid fallacies and errors. Stoic logic also helps us to communicate effectively and persuasively, and to express our thoughts and opinions in a coherent and convincing way. Physics. The goal of Stoic physics is to help us understand the nature of the universe and our place in it. Stoic physics is based on the idea that the universe is a living and rational being, which the Stoics call God, nature, or Zeus. This being is the source and the cause of everything that exists, and it pervades and animates everything with its fire or breath. This fire or breath is also called the soul, the spirit, or the pneuma, and it is the principle of life and intelligence. Stoic physics consists of two main parts, cosmology and psychology. Cosmology is the study of the structure and the order of the universe, and how it operates according to the divine plan. Psychology is the study of the nature and the functions of the human soul, and how it relates to the universal soul. Cosmology. Stoics believe that the universe is a single and coherent whole, which is governed by the logos, the divine and rational principle. The logos is the law and the reason of the universe, and it determines everything that happens in the best possible way. The logos is also the fate and the providence of the universe, and it ensures that everything has a purpose and a meaning. Stoics also believe that the universe is cyclical and eternal, which means that it undergoes periodic changes and transformations, but it never begins or ends. The universe has four main stages: creation, preservation, destruction, and renewal. In the creation stage, the fire or the pneuma of the universe condenses and forms the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. In the preservation stage, the elements mix and combine to form the various bodies and beings of the universe, such as stars, planets, animals, and humans. In the destruction stage, the fire or the pneuma of the universe expands and consumes the elements, returning them to their original state. In the renewal stage, the cycle begins again, and the universe is reborn. Stoics also believe that the universe is hierarchical and harmonious, which means that it has different levels of organization and complexity, but they all work together in a balanced and coordinated way. The universe has three main levels: the divine, the human, and the natural. The divine level is the highest and the most perfect, and it includes the Logos, the God, and the soul of the universe. The human level is the middle and the most rational, and it includes the reason, the soul, and the body of humans. The natural level is the lowest and the most material, and it includes the elements, the bodies, and the beings of nature. Stoic cosmology helps us to appreciate the beauty and the order of the universe, and to recognize our role and our place in it. Stoic cosmology also helps us to trust the wisdom and the goodness of the universe, and to accept its laws and its events. Psychology. Stoics believe that the human soul is a part of the universal soul, and that it is composed of fire or pneuma. The human soul has two main parts: the ruling faculty and the irrational faculty. The ruling faculty is the highest and the most important part of the soul, and it includes the reason, the will, and the judgment. The irrational faculty is the lower and the less important part of the soul, and it includes the senses, the appetites, and the emotions. Stoics also believe that the human soul is immortal, but not eternal, which means that it survives the death of the body, but it does not exist before or after the cycle of the universe. The human soul has three possible destinies after death: assimilation, separation, or transformation. In the assimilation destiny, the soul returns to the fire or the pneuma of the universe, and becomes one with the Logos, the God, and the soul of the universe. In the separation destiny, the soul remains distinct from the fire or the pneuma of the universe, and continues to exist as an individual entity. In the transformation destiny, the soul changes its nature and its form, and becomes a different kind of being, such as a star, a god, or a demon. Stoic psychology helps us to understand the nature and the functions of our soul, and how it relates to the universal soul. Stoic psychology also helps us to develop and improve our soul, and to achieve its potential and its perfection. The teachings of Stoicism. Stoicism is not only a philosophy, but also a way of life. Stoicism teaches us how to live well and act rightly, by following its principles and practices. Stoicism also offers us guidance and advice, by using its maxims and examples. Some of the main teachings of Stoicism are: live according to nature. This means that we should live in harmony with the nature of the universe, the nature of ourselves, and the nature of others. We should follow the Logos, the reason, and the virtue, and avoid the passions, the errors, and the vices. We should also respect the natural order and the natural laws, and adapt to the natural circumstances and the natural events. Live in the present. This means that we should focus on the here and now, and not on the past or the future. We should appreciate what we have and what we can do, and not regret what we lost or what we missed. We should also be prepared for what may come and what may happen, and not worry about what might be or what might not be. Live with gratitude. This means that we should be thankful for the gifts and the blessings that we receive from the universe, from ourselves, and from others. We should acknowledge the good things that we have and that we enjoy, and not take them for granted or for owed. We should also express our gratitude and our appreciation, and not be greedy or ungrateful. Live with moderation. This means that we should be balanced and measured in our desires and our actions, and not be excessive or extreme. We should use the indifferents wisely and properly, and not abuse them or misuse them. We should also be content and satisfied with what we have and what we need, and not be covetous or dissatisfied. Live with courage. This means that we should be brave and confident in our choices and our actions, and not be timid or fearful. We should face the challenges and the difficulties that we encounter, and not avoid them or run away from them. We should also endure the hardships and the pains that we suffer, and not complain or give up. Live with wisdom. This means that we should be knowledgeable and intelligent in our judgments and our actions, and not be ignorant or foolish. We should learn from the experience and the evidence that we have, and not rely on the opinion or the hearsay that we hear. We should also seek the truth and the understanding that we lack, and not be satisfied or complacent. Live with justice. This means that we should be fair and righteous in our dealings and our actions, and not be unjust or wicked. We should respect the rights and the freedoms of others, and not violate them or infringe them. We should also do our duties and our responsibilities towards ourselves and others, and not neglect them or shirk them. Live with benevolence. This means that we should be kind and generous in our feelings and our actions, and not be cruel or stingy. We should love and care for ourselves and others, and not hate or harm them. We should also help and support those who need and deserve it, and not be indifferent or hostile. The benefits of Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophy that can benefit anyone who wants to live a better and happier life. Stoicism can help us to achieve happiness. Stoicism teaches us that happiness is not dependent on external things, but on internal things. Happiness is not something that we pursue or obtain, but something that we practice and cultivate. Happiness is not a state of mind, but a state of character. By living according to virtue, nature, and reason, we can achieve happiness, regardless of the circumstances. Overcome obstacles. Stoicism teaches us that we are not victims, but agents. We are not passive, but active. We are not helpless, but powerful. By managing our emotions, expectations, and actions, we can overcome any obstacle that we face, and turn it into an opportunity. We can also learn from our mistakes and failures, and use them as feedback and motivation. Enhance relationships. Stoicism teaches us that we are not isolated, but connected. We are not enemies, but friends. We are not strangers, but citizens. By living in harmony with nature, reason, and ourselves, we can also live in harmony with others, and foster a sense of community and belonging. We can also respect and appreciate the diversity and the uniqueness of each person, and celebrate the commonality and the universality of the human condition. Make a difference. Stoicism teaches us that we are not insignificant, but important. We are not irrelevant, but relevant. We are not spectators, but participants. By living according to justice, benevolence, and generosity, we can make a positive impact on the world, and contribute to the common good. We can also inspire and influence others, and spread the wisdom and the values of Stoicism. The conclusion. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that is still relevant and useful today. Stoicism is a practical and rational way of living that can help us achieve happiness, improve ourselves, overcome obstacles, enhance relationships, and make a difference. Stoicism is also a rich and profound worldview that can help us understand the nature of the universe and our place in it. Stoicism is not a dogma or a doctrine, but a guide and a friend that can accompany us on our journey of life. We hope that this video has inspired you, motivated you, and touched you. We hope that you have learned something new, or something useful, or something good. We hope that you have found some value, some meaning, or some purpose in this video. We hope that you have enjoyed this video, and that you will share it with others. Thank you for watching,